Hey there, welcome. Let's talk today about the question, is DevOps only for software engineers? So there's a bit of a debate at the moment in the DevOps world, and for many years in IT roles, what you typically see is asking for a university degree or equivalent as a software engineer, or something similarly technical. And actually, for many, many years, you had many sysadmins and also self-taught developers who didn't even have a degree. But these days, it's pretty standard to ask for some kind of degree, but it doesn't necessarily have to be software engineering. Now, look, people are now more and more hiring managers. You see it in the market when you apply for roles, even if they say they're open to what kind of degree you have. Actually, when you read the rest of the job description and you interview with them, it turns out that they want a programmer. And when I say a programmer, I don't mean someone who can, maybe they're good at scripting, maybe they're not even good at say bash scripting, and they can kind of get things done in Python. They may not be expert in Python, but they can kind of get things done. One example is that they might never have used classes in Python, or perhaps most of their code is only about 100 lines and no more than that. Which, let's face it, in DevOps that's pretty common anyway, because you don't usually need many lines of code to achieve what you're trying to do. Scripts are often used for as what people call quote unquote a glue, and if you're just trying to glue different things together, you don't need that many lines of code. So the thing is, what you're quite often seeing now is that they're asking for you to be a coder, to be definitely a software engineering degree, and to have that coding mindset where you can do thousands of lines of code. You know more than just copying and pasting and researching, getting the job done, but you can sit at an IDE, a development environment, and just start coding. And even live coding exercises are becoming more and more common, as well as, of course, the usual stuff like Codility, which is the type of exercise that they send you to do at home, and of course they're monitoring everything while you're doing it, so you do kind of feel like you're being watched as you code, even if they say you can use internet sources. But look, the trend is now that more and more and more, rightly or wrongly, I happen to think wrongly, and I'll tell you why, but you're being expected to code like a programmer, like a seasoned programmer even. So my advice to you is you can't fight this trend. If you don't have those skills, my strong advice is that you work on getting them. Back to the original question, is DevOps only for software engineers? Well, no, we're not quite there yet. However, it's definitely trending that way. I don't think it ever will be purely that way, because let's take the example of someone from a sysadmin background. They may have for years really strong operating system experience, and also learning about distributed computing and lots of those kinds of things, high availability. They've been doing this before any cloud existed. So I really think that they have a good mindset for it. I actually think a good DevOps team is composed of people from both worlds, because I'll give you an example. Where I worked last time, we had a mixed team. Some people were stronger on infra, some people were stronger on coding, and they were software engineering grads or former software engineers even. And they can do great things. They can make code from Python an entire internal development platform, thousands of lines of code, and they're really fast at it. And that's something that I was not able to do. So my advice is, or I would ideally have a team composed of the two, but I still think we're strongly trending towards being developers as well. And it's always good to know and get into the developer mindset anyway, because at the end of the day, your job as a DevOps engineer is to help developers better deploy. So that's part of the job anyway. So I would advise you, if your skills are a bit rusty, to really get a really good, like an O'Reilly Python book or a strong course. Don't skip. Start from the beginning. Go through even the basics again if you've already covered them, but go through things in order and learn how to do things the right way and not just picking up from research X, Y, and Z as you need it. Do it in a structured way from the beginning all the way through to advanced concepts, and by the time you're done, you should really be able to code like someone who's done a software engineering degree at university. Now, one thing I've got to say also about the big problem I feel with hiring managers always wanting developers is, look, people who are former sysadmin and people who are pure developers, for a start, they have a different mindset, even probably before they took that particular career path. There's different personalities attracted to different occupations. I'm not trying to, I am generalizing here, but obviously there's variation still, and not everyone is the same. But you are going to constrain yourself into a type of groupthink if you hire only from one particular source of talent. And it's much better to have a diversity of talent, and you get diversity of opinions, and you'll be much better prepared for the challenges that are to come for your company that are DevOps related. So I think that's one big reason that you shouldn't isolate yourself. Now, one of the problems I have with having a team that is just only developers is, it's the domain of being a developer and all the knowledge that you need to learn and then use. It's not like developers have got spare brain capacity for extra work in a completely different domain. And in fact, most developers that I've met don't want to do that. So if you've been doing things like data structures and algorithms, and all of a sudden you've got to pick up cloud infrastructure, well, they're completely different domains that typically people have not tried to cover both. So I do feel that part of it is companies just trying to save money and give developers extra duties and not really thinking about the risk to their business. One thing that we're seeing more now, the whole DevOps paradigm is really, I believe, you have developers who focus on what they do well, and you also have DevOps engineers who focus on what they do well. And DevOps engineers really, in my opinion, should have more of an infra focus and should not do data structures and algorithms and stuff that is really intensive software development activities. And then you have an overlap of functions and overlap of concerns. You meet in the middle. That is the DevOps culture, and you together are both able to not only have a more reliable application infrastructure, but probably more important, the whole aim of DevOps is to have a faster software development life cycles. So together you're greater than you were as two separate parts. However, what's becoming a reality now is people are now seeing it's better for DevOps engineers, or we can call them even platform engineers now, to create a consumable platform to help developers better self-serve and help them to better deploy and have those quicker development cycles. And Kelsey Hightower, who I think is developer advocate or something similar for Kubernetes, he recently said at a platform con, silos are fantastic. And this, I think, is absolutely true. I think in a way, expecting developers to also be DevOps engineers, I don't think it's a reality. I think it's a unicorn. It's not achievable. And it's better to actually go against the original culture of break down silos, which wasn't 100%. I think it's better actually to say, no, you can't really break them down. It's actually not a bad thing to erect silos and to say, look, you developers, you focus on this, you DevOps engineers, you focus on this. And if some developers want to go to DevOps, fine. Many of them don't enjoy it and they go back, they find it too stressful. But for those who do, great, let them be a part of a team that is a mixture of DevOps and also infra. So anyway, that was just a quick 9-minute chat. I hope you found it useful. Sorry if you heard it might have been a bit of an alarm about a minute ago. I'm just using a new stopwatch. So anyway, I appreciate your being here and see you soon. Bye bye.